I can hardly see nose.
Mr. Sylvester.
The Frankfurt Township Board of Education has caused advance notice of this meeting and general agenda to be submitted for publishing in the official newspapers as well as district and municipal offices on May 17th, 2024. This meeting may be recorded for subsequent public broadcast. Please rise for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Caitlin Fredo.
Here.
Kathleen Adam.
Here.
Jamie Armando is not here. Chris Dexter.
Here.
Charlene Mulner.
Here.
Chelsea Stoll is here. John Tiger's a few minutes late. Jesse Vaughn.
Here.
Okay, so first up, we are gonna have our student council update from Mr. Bryce Yanoff, also our superintendent roundtable recipient.
Good evening and thank you for allowing Student Council to report on our recent activities. Student Council hosted the Spring Pep Rally on Thursday, April 17th during ninth period. We honored the following Frankfurt School track and field team, Branchville soccer teams, lacrosse teams, softball, and baseball teams. Mr. Sylvester was our MC. Buford showed up and did a great job for entertaining the crowd. It was a really great pep rally. Please support our spring sports. Student Council is also in the process of planning the following: activity night for students in grades 3 and 4, another activity night for students in grades 5 and 6, a movie night for students that are in grades 1 and 2. And so we had fundraising for Frankfurt's Got Talent, a talent show. Middle school students will be invited to perform, and middle school students will be able to view the show. The student council members are looking forward to conducting these activities. Thank you for allowing this report.
Good luck at the play. In other recognitions, we have the students of marking period 3. Kindergarten, Emerson Pierce. First grade, Althea Catherine Shepherd Worth. Second grade, Brody Cook. Third grade, Isabella Cruz. Fourth grade, Frankie Crampton. Fifth grade, Victoria Schilling. Sixth grade, Axel Frick. Seventh grade, Bella Rouser, and eighth grade, Eric Wilson. So congratulations to all of them. So now we come to the staff member of the month. So our nominators were Jamie Wolf, Christy Bisicay, Matt Stewart, Nicole Jarek, and Aaron Pompono. And the staff member of the month, well, Lauren is a candidate worthy of recognition of staff member of the month. Not only is Lauren a remarkable teacher for her students, but she is truly a light in the halls of FTS for her fellow staff members. She brings pure sunshine to the building both for kids and for her colleagues. She is also ambitious, never hesitates to get involved, and is an impressively thoughtful and effective educator. Every day we can rely on her to smile, to maintain her perpetual optimism, to offer a hilarious joke resulting in the most genuine belly laughs, and to remain a dependable colleague. I think that's in and out of school. Lauren is constantly seeking out new opportunities and shows her passion for education, and is a person who goes above and beyond for all students and her coworkers. She is an active member of the 7th and 8th grade team and contributes meaningful insight to team level discussions and always lends a hand in planning and organizing grade level events and responsibilities. For example, she recently planned the school-wide Pi Day assembly and an 8th grade field trip to go bowling. She plans engaging science lessons every day and works so hard to make sure all students' needs are met. Her sense of humor and ability to hold students accountable while still showing them compassion and kindness are a joy to watch. And the bonds she has formed with students and other staff members are unmatched. Here are a few things her students have to say about her. It's anonymous, but I'll tell you. Mrs. Geeney is one of those teachers who you just love and can't find anything negative to say about her. Everything she does is genuine, helpful, considerate. She's just the best. Next student. Without her, I would just fail. Everything. I would have never made my roller coaster a success without her help. Next student. She is just the sweetest and so funny, always cracking jokes. Next student. Her class is always fun. We do the best experiments and projects together. Next student. Her energy is insane. Much energy. I know I can rely on her class to be fun and for her to be so positive. She puts me in a good mood and sets me up with a smile for the day. This is now closing remarks. She is a light and we appreciate her. Her contributions to FTS are nothing short of remarkable, and we are blessed to have her in the halls of FTS. I opened this up, I'm like, you get a Lowe's gift card. I think we just go You also get a Visa gift card. Congratulations, Mrs. Geaney. I use Mrs. Geaney for parenting strategies. She's very good at that. Recognition circle, it's the same rundown for the class of 2025. We have some special awards for the Frankfurt Hero. Do you want to talk about them?
Sure. We have 2 Frankfurt Heroes this month. We have 8th grader Andrew Ellis and 6th grader Joseph Pinto. Andrew Ellis was nominated by our cafeteria workers. They state that Andrew is by far head and shoulders one of the nicest boys who comes in and treats them with respect and care and admiration for all that they do. They made it a point to come find me and really kind of celebrate Andrew, which was great. And then 6th grader Joseph Pinto. You'll never find another student, I think, who is more well-mannered than Joey Pinto. He will thank you for giving him a worksheet. He will thank you for letting him get a drink. He will thank you for letting him go to the bathroom. And he's just one of a kind gem. So there are Frankfurt Heroes for this month.
They get the lunches?
They get the lunches.
Awesome.
Jumbo Land. Still waiting on Firehouse to come back.
All right, superintendent and principal section.
All right, so I just have a few quick things. First, I wanted to start, I know Bryce had to go to play practice, but it was so much fun attending the Roundtable Award at Corona Farms right before spring break, you know, with his family, his mom and dad. It was great for me to get to know them a little better, and just what a great ceremony where all the other Roundtable Award recipients were honored in such a, you know, well-deserved occasion. Also, on May 9th, we'll be going back to Corona Farms. That's where we will recognize our Governor's Educators of the Year, Mrs. Fry and Mr. Simons. So we're looking forward to that. Mr. Sylvester and I will attend that with them as well, with all the other county recipients for Teacher of the Year. I just want to touch briefly, I know we'll get the budget presentation in a quick moment. But obviously this is my first go around here at Frankfurt, and I have to say, working with, you know, discussing things, you know, with the faculty, the staff, the board, you know, the community, town representatives has been a very rewarding experience, you know, for me. And I'm happy to say I think we put a very, you know, responsible, thoughtful budget together, keeping a lot of, you know, taking a lot of things into consideration, but most importantly, not cutting any programming this year. So all programming will remain intact. And I know that's obviously a huge thing for any school district, but I know to keep the programming that we currently have intact, looking ahead to next year. And then finally, we recently had a meeting with the county office, Department of Education. They came in just to follow up on the curriculum and instruction part. This is a brief refresher. Every school that was under NJ CUSAC, the session that got evaluated 2 years ago was put on a corrective action plan. So I like to tell people that, you know, if every school in the county and pretty much across the state, more than 60% is on a corrective action plan because their test scores aren't high enough for meeting the standards that the state's put in place, there's obviously something wrong with that. But we came in, we reviewed our corrective action plan, everything we've done from the start of this school year up to this point of the year, and they were very impressed. Just where we are within the county, within, you know, our cluster, the growth that our students have made in under just, you know, 1 year. The data's all there. So I think it could be misinterpreted by, you know, members of the public or in the community. They see that, they think there's, you know, something wrong with the school. Well, I'm happy to say that the county office was very impressed with all the programming, all the things we do, all the things we've done to, try to, improve and address, and how to, grow. So we'll be starting up our next round of NJSLA testing, starting next week. So, but I'd also like to point out too, 60 of the 100 points in that category are just determined on how the students do on the test. We got 40 out of 40 on the points that we could control, so we were perfect in the curriculum and instruction points that we can control. So, also another piece of that is the chronic absenteeism, which the state has taken made a very big emphasis, because we all know if kids aren't in school, they can't learn. And the best place for all kids to be for a variety of reasons is in school. So basically, if you're over 10% of your student population have missed 18 or more days over the course of the school year, that would be, over 10% of the school year, you're labeled as chronically absent. So right now, we're projected to finish well under that 10%, which is great news. Last year into this year, we finished at 10.1%. We were over by 0.1%, as were most of the other schools in the state. So this is their new emphasis. We gave them that those numbers, that data, thanks to Mr. Sylvester for compiling that. And we anticipate that we will be well under that 10%. I think that kind of speaks to the whole Pause initiative, the fun activities that are happening on a daily basis here at school. One, encouraging the kids to come, they want to come, they're having fun, when they're here, and that's what it's all about. And then just finally, the Pi Day event was phenomenal. My first experience with that as well, getting up there on that stage and getting pied in the face with 3 of our other workers here, including Mr. Sylvester. But luckily, the one just grazed my head and I escaped. It wasn't a direct hit, but I'm sure there's always next year where I'll get a smack in the nose. But until then, that's my report. Thank you.
Mr. Sylvester, do you have a report or?
No, you really kind of hit it all. Just going off that chronic absenteeism, compared to where we were last year, just to give you an idea, we're sitting at 4% of our student population chronically absent. So we are significantly decreasing that rate this year, and I really like Mr. Newman said, I think it's a testament to the staff and everybody here making this place as fun as possible, because nobody wants to do anything unless it's fun, right? School needs to be fun.
Absolutely. Kudos to all the teachers.
Yes.
Motion to open public comment.
Wait, no, we get.
Oh.
Budget presentation.
Oh, I was skipping that.
Yep.
You wrote that so small on the agenda.
Well, it's a hearing, so it's right before public comment, technically. So this is the overview of the 25-26 budget. Just giving, as a board, we've met as a finance committee a few times. As administration, we've met several times, and then as the board, we've kind of gone over it a couple times. So, needless to say, so the basics of this budget, as Mr. Newman mentioned, all existing programs remain intact. Obviously, for the for this school year, we did have some changes to the programs, but we were fortunate to be able to keep that intact. We did not want to make any other major changes to the programming, so we were able to make it happen. Now, we are also able to do some long overdue network upgrades for our wireless systems, and that's going to be coinciding with a 50% funding from the federal government on the E-rate program. So starting next year, we're going to be upgrading all of our wireless networks as well as our all of our switches and all of the infrastructure for that. But we are taking advantage of an ending cycle of E-rate funding and a renewing cycle the following year, so we're trying to time that perfectly. We did also do some more shared services for curriculum, which is reflected in the budget to help offset the costs. And we did increase, and we've been working to try and increase the ability to take in tuition students from other school districts. So we did increase that as well. I don't have the dollar amount in there, but I believe it's around $172,000 increase because we're bringing in more tuition students.
Just so everyone knows, we cannot make money off the tuition students, so it's not, it can just offset
Because the other schools pay for it.
costs.
It will reduce the,
Are shared services like with other districts?
Yes.
yes,
Yes.
yeah.
If we don't make any money off it, why do we do it?
It offsets,
We'll reduce the per pupil.
Other districts pay for those students.
Average cost for the program itself. So it will reduce the effect on the local taxpayer because now we have more students to divide the cost up again. So it's a big savings in the first year because it was, we still have the teachers and all, but now it's going to reduce our impact for everyone. Because now instead of saying you're educating 10 kids and you have 2 teachers, now you have 11 kids and 2 teachers, you're just reducing the overall expense. In the first year that you add students though, it's a reduction in the budget just because it's not revenue you have been seeing every year. So it does reduce the impact on the budget upfront and then for a prolonged purpose, but you're not making money. What happens at the end of the year when the school district is audited, we will get a certified tuition rate for the program, and then we may, in some instances, have to give money back to the district if it was determined that the tuition was too high, or the district may owe us more money if it was determined to be more than what the cost was. So it's evened out based on the audit. The initial year you estimate it based on what your expected enrollment is, but that's how when you're talking budgeting, you're looking at recurring revenue versus first-time revenue. So in the first year, it's a significant decrease in the tax levy or tax impact, but it will even itself out over time. But the goal is to reduce the overall cost by having more students. When you're getting towards your capacity, it reduces the cost per pupil versus when you have an expensive program for only a handful of students. That was a very wordy explanation, but I'm trying to cover all bases. Okay, anyhow, moving on. So these are the major challenges, and this is the biggest task or the biggest challenge that we've had. It's very big every year, but this year the increases have been much more significant on some of these major categories. As you can see right here, salaries and extra compensation, 3.25%. That's part of the negotiated contract overall. That is 62.3% of the budget. Health benefits though are going up 9.66%. That is another 16% of the budget. Transportation up 3.57. These are all, transportation is mandated by the state what the contracts renew at. That's another 5% of the budget. Property insurance, 15%. That's 2% of our budget. Workers' compensation, 5% increase, that's 1.2%. Energy costs, we're told to expect another 15% increase next year. And a lot of that is because there's been a big increase in data centers. The AI boom has certainly been increasing data centers much faster than they have been just to begin with. But we were told to expect by ACES, which is our shared service program through School Boards Association. They manage bidding across the state for school districts. We were told to expect a 15% increase in there. All of this, I don't have my percentage on here, right? All of this works out to be about 86% of our budget is fixed cost. So everything else, actually, I'm sorry, 11.8% is the rest of the budget. The rest of the budget comprises your curriculum materials, your supplies, you name it. Pretty much anything that is not specific in there is what we get to work with as discretionary. Now, it doesn't seem like a lot, but when you look at, for instance, health benefits, we were fortunate in that we have only a 9.66% increase. The state plan was over 12%. These things did allow us for where we are with the tax levy, but the fact of the matter is there is a lot of fixed costs that go into the budget that if you can't adjust for them, you end up squeezing out programs in the back end because all of these items are pretty much fixed and you have not a lot of choice on what to do with them. So moving on, so our state aid went up $41,000, and I know it was mentioned during the governor's address that he fully funded the state formula. However, what he didn't really clarify is that he said no district will lose more than 3%, but what he didn't say is that your increase, if your funding formula calculates a certain dollar amount, you're gonna be capped at an increase of 6%. That being said, if we were fully funded by the formula, we would have received another $60,000. in our state aid. The general fund tax levy though, the general fund is going up 4.334%, and revenue from other school districts, I'm sorry, I had the number wrong earlier, is $147,000 increase. So these are helping the tax levy, but it still works out to be 4.334%.
And can you just explain why we're allowed to go over the 2% this year?
Yeah, I will let, actually, I'll explain that right now. So, obviously, everyone knows that there's a tax cap of 2%. So that 2% is just the base limited increase for tax levy if nothing else changes. So, if we don't have any factors or mitigating factors that cause an allowable adjustment to that 2%, we would be stuck at the 2%. The state, in this case, are allowing adjustments over the 2% for a few different reasons. One, you get one for if your health insurance goes up more than 2%, but if, as compared to the state's health plan. So if the state goes up 8%, 10%, 14%, your school district is allowed to take an equal adjustment over the tax levy, equal to up to the amount the state's health plan has increased. So ours went up 9.66. We can take an allowable adjustment for what our health benefits go up between 2% and what our actual increase is up to the amount the state's increases. So that is the largest adjustment we have right here was for health benefit cost increases. Then you have other adjustments for enrollment, which we didn't have an enrollment increase a few years ago. We did have an enrollment increase, which was mostly used, but we had $4,100 left over, and that is also being combined with our health adjustment as well. Last year we did not use, last year was a one-time year. We were allowed to go up to 10% or 9.9%. The board did not use that. We actually stayed within what our allowable growth adjustment was for enrollment, and we left $93,000 unused of our allowable growth last year for enrollment, and actually there was some adjustment for health benefits as well that was not used. So needless to say, we are going over the 2%, but these are adjustments that the state put into the budgeting program to allow for growth on some fixed costs, but there are never growth adjustments for transportation. You don't get growth adjustments if you have an influx of special education costs, because those are some of the bigger ones that have a large impact that you don't have much way to mitigate other than squeezing it out of the budget wherever you can find it. So it's just a few allowable adjustments to help keep things intact as best possible. The result is the general fund, 4.33%, total increase $440,099. Total tax levy factoring debt service is an increase of $441,487, and it averages out to an increase of 4.302% for the total tax levy. How that works out, this is the apportionment. You will see from another subsequent slide how Frankfort and Branchville fluctuate from year to year, and that is based on these numbers right here. This percentage is what the state determines how much Frankfort versus Branchville will have as a share of the total tax levy, and this changes from year to year based on enrollment fluctuations as well as a factor. I don't know how to calculate it, but they use a equalization factor of the relative wealth of each municipality, and has factored with the enrollment as well to come up with a percentage that adjusts every single year. The result is that Branchville this year will see an increase of $212.72 for the average home, and Frankfort will see an increase of $128.31 for the average home. This is the history, the 10-year history. As you can see, Branchville, being that it's much smaller in comparison, the swings are usually much greater from one year to the next. Frankfort is a little less of a swing, but never, regardless, they still get, it does still swing back and forth to an extent. Overall, over the 10-year average, Frankfort has increased a total of $661, or an average of $66 per year, and Branchville has gone up an average of a total of $573 or an average of 57 per year. The average annual increase was 4%. Here's how, you wanna take a picture, or not, we can email this out too. To calculate your tax levy, what it will be for Frankfurt School itself, you can take this number. Take your assessed property value, you should have a card from the town or the borough that lists your assessed value, divide that by 100 and multiply it by these amounts. That will give you the calculation. And that's all I have.
And also remember, we're just talking about Frankfurt and Branchville, the taxpayers are also responsible for Pine Point, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Any questions?
No questions.
Okay.
Motion out.
The taxes are going up again?
Yep,
Yep. Yeah, since 2020, we've gone up like 3% every year. Yeah,
one thing overall with the budget, and looking back, and you really, you try to be at 0, right? But you can only collect 2% of your total, your tax levy or budget, so if you were to show just consistently 2% instead of fluctuating, it would go a little easier on the taxpayer, like it wouldn't cause the mayors too much agita because it would just be kind of the status quo. But when it fluctuates like that, like last year, Branchville Borough had a negative $257 out of their taxes. Now this year, they're gonna get hit with $213. So last year, they're, looking pretty good. But this year, last year Frankfurt residents were at 191, but this year they're down to 128. So there's a little bit of a decrease there, if you want to say. Anyway. Kate motioned to open public comment. Does anybody want a second? Caitlin will second. Does anybody have a public comment? Nothing is second? No?
Motion to close.
Second. Awesome. Okay, so the board committee section, communication and public relations, there's a list there of May's monthly activities. I'm sure you see the Bulldog Bulletin, do I have to read all of these? You could look on your agenda, just find them. Policy and curriculum committee met, tonight. Charlene, do you wanna give a report on the policies that we went over, or do you want me?
Not I can do whatever.
Okay, go Charlene.
So we just looked at some of the oldest policies. Mandy had requested that we look at some of the oldest policies to see if any of those needed to be revised. And we did look at the facilities policy, the facility usage policy, and compared our facilities use fees, which are basically nothing, to other districts in the county or in surrounding areas. And there was discussion about whether or not to charge outside groups that are using the facilities, not to make a profit, but the custodians have been paying attention to how many supplies are being used, just in terms of toilet paper, soap, paper towels, all of those things. So we wanna look at what it's costing us in terms of just those supplies and come up with some kind of a sliding scale to possibly charge outside organizations to use the facilities. We also looked at the non-resident policy that covers the expenses for students that are coming into our district that are not residents and are paying a tuition, including students, teachers who work here who pay significantly less than the tuition. That policy had to be changed because the county superintendent now needs to approve that for any out-of-district student that wants to attend Frankfurt. So some of the language had to be changed there. And then we were gonna make some minor changes to access to the building. That policy is older, so there's still information in there from COVID when people were required to wear masks and weren't necessarily able to enter the building. So we're going to look at taking some of that language out and updating the fact that they now visitors have to be cleared through the Raptor program before they come into the office. So nothing major, but just policies that haven't been looked at for a while.
And field trips.
Oh, the field trips. We looked at the field trips and adding language about the chaperones having background checks completed for the overnight trips. Is it just the overnight trips related to background checks or any trip?
No, I think it's any trip.
Any trip.
Any trip.
And that's an
That's
online service that the chaperones would have to pay for. Is that the last one?
And it would be 2 trips per grade per year, with a
Not
total of
exceed
$100 combined for those 2 trips, and that includes the transportation costs that need to be.
Outside of the 5th and 8th grade trips, which are DC and Camp Mason, which are milestone trips and more expensive.
Yes. And then we have tonight some policy reviews, the first reading of orientation and training of board members, and the first reading of state and federal funds. So those will be in the consent agenda. Finance, physical plant, transportation.
Mr.
Sorry.
LaShaw, do you have any?
We already mentioned the budget, we will be attending one of the upcoming meetings at Frankfurt Township, just to as well to the committee members. New for next year though, we will be implementing a school breakfast program. We have officially this year reached just over 10% low free and reduced income lunch eligibility, so when you reach 10%, you must implement a school breakfast program. So we did meet with Mashio's Food Service to discuss it, how to implement what we're gonna do. We're gonna start off with kind of a grab and go program in September, but we have to, it's a mandated requirement, so we're going to have this in place and get it going. We'll be sending information all to the families over the summer, just to let you know. But we have in here the breakfast and lunch rates for approval.
So what time does the cafeteria open to accommodate that?
It will be a breakfast after the bell, so they would be coming off the bus. We'll probably be planning a sign up beforehand, so that way we know how many meals to prepare. We'll probably over prepare for the first week or 2, just as people get used to it. But it will be after the bell, so they would be grabbing it, get off the bus, grab it, and take with them to home.
Yeah, so like your bagel bag, cereal
Right.
bag.
And so you're eating in first period?
First period.
Alrighty then.
But the feedback from it is, you know, it sounds like everybody's gonna buy breakfast, and they said typically it doesn't, it's not like every kid's buying breakfast. There might be a select few, or of course those that are entitled to it, you know, they can get it. But that's why we're just gonna start simple, bagel bag.
Is it punching your code in the cafeteria?
So they would go in, and there would be a cafeteria worker there, and they would document that it's a complete meal, and
And do we have a cost for the students that aren't free and reduced lunch?
yes.
Is it
Yeah,
is that on here?
$2?
That's on there.
$2, I think.
It's resolution 30 on page 9.
Adults are $3.
Obviously, I pay attention to that.
Yes. Next piece of information, so we did just receive word, we didn't get the official letter, but we received the list of approved rewards for the local recreation improvement grant. Apparently you can get this grant at least up to 2 years in a row, this will be our 2nd year, but will be awarded $83,000 to cover the cost for regrading the fields for the baseball diamonds, softball diamonds, whatever you wanna call it, as well as improving the drainage for the lower field that's by the shed. So that is, I actually have a resolution to put together a bid for that work, because the cost being $83,000 requires a bid.
Is the sewer project being considered in the improving of the drainage?
Well, it will be a factor as we start with that design process, but yeah,
The sewer design process, you mean?
yeah, the sewer, where our septic is, when we get to a point of the sewer, the septic field does not affect where the drainage swale will be. It goes into the center of the fields for that matter. So that'll be another project, but this recreation grant does not address anything in the center of like what is the soccer field. So, but either way, hopefully it will be a lot better, cause that one field, baseball field, is not used very much because it's generally wet. So this will hopefully improve that significantly. As I've mentioned before, some of the older school photos, you'll see there was actually a pond where that field is.
When is that gonna be getting done, that work?
Well, the hope is this summer, we have actually about a year and a half to get it done, as far as the grant's concerned, but it all depends on what we receive for bids. I gotta put the bid together. and
Where does
get
the
it started.
drainage tie into?
It's just a drainage swale, so it goes into the pond spill.
Okay.
I mean, we don't usually have that much drainage, it's just the issues that it sits there.
Sits in there.
Yeah,
I'm
so
thinking it's a
not-
whole stormwater management system that you're.
No,
Okay. For 83 grand.
This is the same grant that covered the backstops, right?
Yeah.
Last year replacement.
yeah, so we're trying to make it better. Sewer study, I was hoping to have an updated report, I don't yet, the update I have from the engineers is that what is holding them up is getting answers from the Department of Agriculture as far as funding opportunities are concerned. So I'm hoping to have something for May 15th as far as what the cost is estimated to be, what funding options are there, and then the rest of the feasibility study is mostly gonna just be talking about who can be in this and what our options are, as well as the cost.
Does the
The
committee
cost-
need to meet on that before?
I'll probably, yes, I'll put everyone together once we get it, cause I'd like to
Okay.
have everyone on the same page before we just present it. But that being said, I mean, that is a referendum type project, and the question in there is what options we have to fund it. Cause it wouldn't be anything that's part of the regular tax levy. This would be something that requires a lot longer to fund, and it's a project not just to help the school, but hopefully it would be helping.
But if the referendum does not pass,
That's the question, what
Oh,
kind of
that's your
referendum
question.
can we do?
That's my
That is one of the
question,
main
too.
questions, can we pass a referendum that if this is a project that must happen, a regular straight referendum, if it votes down, it doesn't happen, so that is, we
right,
weighing what the options are in that as well. That's all I have for an update at this point.
thank you. So school safety and climate, there was a fire drill on April 8th and a school safety drill on April 16th, what a great day. Motion to enter executive session.
Motion. Second.
You can go on, Lauren, if you want. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna start with the consent agenda. Be it resolved that the Frankfurt Township Board of Education accept the recommendation of the superintendent of schools to approve the above identified regular agenda items number 2025-0428-03 through 2025-0428-32. We will start with Chris Dexter.
Yes.
Charlene Molnar.
Yes.
Chelsea Stoll.
Yes.
John Tiger.
Yes, but no to 24.
Kate Adam.
Yes.
Jesse Vaughn.
Yes.
I didn't go
We didn't
on.
get a motion in second.
Motion and second.
Motion.
Kate.
Second.
Look at that. Jesse Vaughn is a yes. Caitlin Fredo.
Yes.
Mandy Joust, yes. So then we have the budget consent agenda. And that has quite a few. So be it resolved that the Frankfurt Township Board of Education accept the recommendation of the superintendent of schools to approve the above identified budget regular agenda items number 2025-0428-33 through 2025-0428-41. Kate Adam.
Hold please.
Hold? Okay.
Yeah,
We need a
I'm
motion.
getting ready.
Oh, motion? Chris.
We're going fast.
Second,
Right.
Caitlin.
Made it.
Yes.
Oh, I was gonna come back to it. Alright, Kate said yes. Chris Dexter,
Yes.
Charlene Molnar,
Yes.
Chelsea Stoll, John Tiger,
No.
Jesse Vaughn,
Yes.
Caitlin Fredo,
Yes.
Mandy Joust, yes. And now we have a
Regular.
regular agenda. Do I read this one out loud, Mr. Wilson?
You know what, you can press that, that was last month.
Okay.
I
I was like, okay. That was
Motion to
very
open.
nice. Motion to
Second.
open public comment, second. Anybody have a public comment? No? Motion to close public comment.
Motion. Second.
Our next scheduled meeting, here are the other items in the good of the order. Our next scheduled meeting is May 12th. Complete your annual governance training. Oops. Please consider attending Sussex County School Boards Association meeting on May 6th at 6 p.m. CPA. Get your taxes done at 6 p.m. for the Teacher of the Year celebration. So that's celebrate. Did you say it's May 9th though?
No,
Oh.
So, but the actual celebration, this is a school
Yeah.
board one, I believe.
Oh.
So the actual recognition is the night,
and that's to recognize,
the ceremony.
Mrs. Fry.
And
Hotels.
Mr.
No, this one, the county one is
Oh,
for-
yeah. Oh, Mary
Yeah.
Hotel.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yes, 6. We also always like to thank the PTA for all of their contributions to the school. Thank you for the oranges and water for the jump rope for Heart, and all that they do here at the school.
And next week they'll be putting on quite an event for Teacher Appreciation Week.
Yes.
And Thursday, May 1st is National Principals Day.
Wow.
Nice.
Oh, and Teacher Appreciation Week is
Yeah,
next
it's
before.
May 5th to May
Yeah.
9th.
Yeah. May 5th.
Yeah, and the PTA will be
Oh, that's
putting something wickedly awesome together.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
really
awesome.
awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't forget we have Beauty and the Beast Junior coming up
Oh,
this
Beauty and
weekend.
the Beast play, make sure you attend the Beauty and the Beast play.
This weekend, Friday and
Yeah,
Saturday,
Friday.
$10 adults, $5 children.
Awesome. Motion to adjourn, or anybody else have anything for the good of the order? Also, if anyone can chaperone the 8th grade dance, May 31st,
I'm
Mr.
going.
Dexter and I will be there.
Oh, I'm going
Thank
to that, Miss Festa.
You're chaperoning?
Yeah, she asked me at basketball.
Took my place, thanks.
And Jesse will also be chaperoning. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second.
Thank you.